Yes, we're back. We're in Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments for Making Money by Rabbi Daniel Lapin. We're at the 6th commandment. It's page 205. Constantly change the changeable while steadfastly clinging to the unchangeable. We're going to be reading from page 235, and we're going to start at the top of the page. Through always thinking video and not snapshot in this way, genuinely compassionate and charitable religious Jews are far less vulnerable to the politics of poverty. They recognize that not a single person has everything he or she needs or wants, and therefore poverty is more a state of mind than a state of pocket. Jews also recognize that self-discipline and biblical principles of ethical capitalism are the stepping stones to a family's growth. Another key to how Jews view the role of past and future and how they impact their experience of the present is provided by the total absence of any present verb, to be, in Hebrew. Anyone speaking a grammatically and biblically correct Hebrew can say, I will be here tomorrow. He or she can also say, I was here yesterday. Although there are phrases that are accepted to mean, I am here now, in actuality, the verb to be doesn't exist in a usable form. Jews, as well as many others who consider Hebrew to be the Lord's language, recognize that He in His wisdom decreed that there is effectively no such thing as the present. Just with some thoughts on what we read, definitely jumping in right where it says, He in His wisdom decreed that there's effectively no such thing as the present. God is eternal. You know, He sees the future, He sees the past. It's all part of one circle. He knows the future and the beginning. You know, that's why He's the great I am. And, you know, these are things I learned, so not to sound, you know, like some expert on it. In reality, the present is no more than an experiential mechanism by means of which humans can convert the future into the past. That's right. The present is not so much a time as it is an action. The present is the activity I am currently engaged in during every instant, with the purpose of turning the infinitely malleable future into a better past. And I was like, whoa, this is such, beautiful language. I'm still thinking about this one, leave some comments on what you think about this one. Correctly understanding how the present instant is less real than the past or the future can also help people deal with fear. As important as it is to be future focused, it is also important to remember that fear exists only in the future. Although it is unhealthy and impractical to live only in and for the present instant, it is not hard to see that those who do live this way experience very little fear. And I was like, yeah, definitely, man. The most fearless people I've ever known were not like concerned about consequences. They were just like, I'm doing this or whatever, this is happening. So, I mean, some good advice for me. A good strategy I'm learning actually is to anticipate a good result for motivation, instead of a bad result, which will lead to like anxiety and fear. If all that counts is the present instant, there can be nothing approaching from the future to hurt you. This is a psychological defense mechanism that humans evoke during moments of extreme physical peril. Soldiers in action often speak of reaching an exultant phase of activity in which all fear abandons them. The present crisis in which they find themselves obscures all thought of the future, and along with that, it obscures all fear. You obviously cannot eliminate all thoughts of the future, neither should you try. On the contrary, your success, to some extent, depends on your ability to accurately read the future. However, in dealing with fear, shifting your focus just a little from the future to the present helps deflect the paralyzing effects of fear. Recognizing this truth about the present makes change easier to deal with and easier to manipulate to your benefit. Remember the mantra, everything is constantly in motion and change is perpetual. For some approaching changes, as for a fast approaching and difficult ball in baseball, I must step backward to give myself more room to swing at it. For other approaching changes, as for a sweet, slow lob, I must step forward to embrace and exploit it as quickly as possible. The trick, of course, is telling the difference between the two. For that trick, two useful props exist. One, recognizing and remaining anchored to those things that never change. And two, improving your ability to see future trends that so influence just how you should best modify the present instant. The next chapter shows how you can more accurately foretell the future. Oh, this baseball example, and I just love this metaphor. You know, I could really imagine trying to swing a bat at a ball that's coming super fast, or trying to swing a bat at a ball that's coming super slow. Looking at changes, right? Some approaching changes are fast, and some approaching changes are slow. So, you know, you want to be able to anticipate them and respond to them accurately and effectively. So I really think that's a great way to think about change and upcoming change, because everything is definitely going to change. That's like the constant, right? Everything is constantly in motion, and change is perpetual, you know. So just some things to think on.